Hello everyone, today's topic is feedback. How to give great feedbacks and make sure that feedback works for you rather than against you. It's Kilian. This channel is all about leadership and performance coaching, both at an individual and team level. Let's dive right into this important tool that every team leader, technical coach, entrepreneur has to master in this getting better journey. Because in the end, isn't your job to close the gap between a proficiency level that you have, that you inherit, and the desired proficiency level instead that you're looking for? Isn't it that the team has to raise to your levels and standards and not the other way around? The point is that these feedbacks sometimes might come across as judgmental. People might end up taking personally what you're saying, and this correction that you want to apply ends up in resentment. And resentment doesn't profit you as a leader, definitely not the resource, and the team as a whole loses. Let's see some several tips, practical tips I've collected that can help you give a strong and efficient feedback. Bear with me for the next 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, the first tip is be specific. Obviously, being specific and fact-based should help eliminate this judgment and resentment process you might fall into. Obviously, before being specific and fact-based, as a team leader, you want to know which behaviors you're looking for, which means that you have to be aware of what is your strategy in the long term and in the short term, and which are the behaviors that best serve your strategy. Only having this cleanup, this mental and internal awareness, you can then look for the behaviors that best serve your strategy. You might even want to break a skill into sub-skill so that you make it easier for the resource and you get even more specific. When the resource gets better, you can group the skills so that they become one task. Was that clear? Second very important tip, in my opinion, is give frequent feedback. Do it often. First of all, because you show that you care about the resource. Maybe you're taking on a new role and you want to make sure that your standards are accepted. The more frequent you give the feedback, the more encouragement you're giving the resource, sending a message to everyone else. Obviously, little by little, you're going to diminish the frequency once the resource shows the capabilities to do as you ask. Third suggestion, do it soon. Research proves that the closer between the moment the behavior happens and the moment you deliver the feedback, the closer the time between the two, the more efficient is the feedback. Also for memory issue. Sometimes the resource is closer to what happened. You have more details to provide. Everything is fresher in the memory. It works better. A little sub tip that maybe you want to use, that I use all the time, is to record. You might not have a pen or a block note at hand. You want to record what you see, then to organize better your feedback. Another suggestion, which is praise the effort, not only the result. This is very important. Check my video on mastery orientation in respect to outcome orientation. You don't want to only care about the outcome. You want to praise the effort, which is the actual and only thing the resource is in control of. You see the win and the outcome as a result of getting masterful. And to get masterful, a lot of efforts have to be made. So please remember to praise the effort. Another important approach is to convey an idea of no fear. You don't want a fearful environment where your people are playing basically not to lose type of mentality. They are withholding, they are fearful that they receive criticism of punishment, and it has been proven that a fearful environment creates people that don't try hard enough, they're going to be sensible to burnout, and in the sports world to injury. The Applied Sport Psychology book by Williams and Crane provides extensive research on all this. Another approach I suggest you is no judgment. This is at the core of the coaching approach that you're trying to introduce in your leadership styles. Judgment actually is like a heavy load that you're putting on the shoulder of the resource that you're managing. It paralyzes the situation. It doesn't help you to move forward. Everybody loses, which doesn't mean you don't have to evaluate, but please bear in mind the difference between evaluation and judgment. It's a completely different approach. Another tip, another approach, another possibility is to remember the objective of a feedback. The objective of a feedback is movement, is to drive action. You want the person to thank you for sharing this information. It's just information, it's just an evaluation, and you want the person to immediately move on the correction plan that you have outlined. Even feeling motivated because you care about the person and you're showing a way to become a better professional. The sandwich feedback. I'm sure that a lot of you have heard this expression. It's a pretty funny Anglo-Saxon expression to say that before conveying a correction, a criticism, or at least it may come across like this instead of a constructive feedback, people want to start with something good. Dear John, dear Alice, I was impressed by how good you were doing this. Let me also say that on this other thing, you suck, basically. And actually, I see the value of it because especially if you're not confident enough with the people that you're managing, you're just taking on a new role, maybe there's not enough time spent together. This is a nice formal way to have feedback come across. On the other side, it's my opinion that it may create confusion. Every resource might get hooked up on only the negative part, on only the positive part. In my opinion, if you have done a good job in making clear and widely have the team accept that closing the gap, getting better and being the best we can every day of the week, and this is part of the culture, well then performance isn't an aspect we should shy away. Which means, concretely, that you can have separate feedback. You can have feedback on what has been done good, and you want to really champion the resource and expand and spread this championing across the team. On the other side, when performance reviews need to be tough because something has been done inefficiently or in a wrong way, you should make a feedback only on what needs to be increased immediately. So to keep the good and the bad separately, obviously try to keep the good public so that you spread a good energy across the team. Maybe when you have reviews on something that hasn't worked, you want it private, very specific, very authentic, very right to the point, but private. And remember that the result you want is a resource to stand up and the day after to start doing what you asked to with a smile in the face. This is the objective. Anyhow, last but not least, what do we want to do? I suggest that you raise this feedback issue publicly, discuss with the team, see what they think about that. Maybe you want to have some internal assessment I can help you out with to feel what is the perception of the team, and ask, how would you like to receive feedback? Once it's clear that the performance is a value, once it's clear that we have to close the gap from where we are to where we want to go, once it's clear that feedback is a tool, if something is unclear, let's talk now and tell me how you want to receive feedback. Because individualization, making it personal and making empathy in this process of communication is another key to success, my dear team leader. Okay, thank you for listening. Don't forget to smile and have fun. 𝐸𝐿.